Hello. So last time I did the Hazbin Hotel Pokemon teams, I said I was doing a part 2 because there's a lot of characters in the Helluverse, like a lot. So we're just gonna get right into it. Why not? You know, you watched the last video hopefully, so yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so we're gonna start with Cherry Bomb. I feel like that makes sense. I just didn't want to fit too many characters in the last video, so as an Aussie, she'd have a Kangaskhan. Like, I feel like that's a little fitting. Maybe it's racist, I don't know, but I think it makes sense. She's an Aussie. She wasn't in the pilot though, which I find interesting. She'd also have a Cherubi. I mean, her name's Cherry Bomb. Like, Cherubi's a cherry. Like, I feel like this is self-explanatory, and if you don't understand it, then you really don't get media literacy at all. But then again, you're a Hazbin Hotel fan, so you probably don't anyway. And then last but not least, she'd have a Voltorb, because Voltorb's literally a bomb. And Cherry Bomb, that's her weapon of choice, is bombs. I feel like her team is pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, that's Cherry Bomb's team. Alright, next is Baxter. He'd have a Lantern, obviously, because he's an anglerfish, and Lantern's an anglerfish, so that makes sense. I also give him a Porygon because, you know, he's a scientist, so Porygon's a Pokemon made by scientists, so I think that makes sense. And his last Pokemon would be Indeedee because he likes when Vaggy, like, cleans his room and, you know, folds his sheets and that, so he'd have an Indeedee to do that for him. I think that makes sense. It doesn't matter if it's male or female, though, but yeah, that would be Baxter's team. Alright, now it's time for the V's. We're gonna start with Vox, obviously, the best of all three of them. He'd have a Rotom because they both, I don't know what's called. Is it called electronesis? Basically, they can both turn into electricity and travel through wires. Like, we've seen Vox do that multiple times, and we've seen that Rotom can do that in the anime many times, so that just made sense, you know? Like, I don't think... If you don't agree with me, then... Sorry, but you're wrong. He'd also have a Sharpedo, because Vox likes sharks. He has a pet shark called Shockwave. In fact, Vox is literally a shark, just with a TV on his head, which is very contradictory, but still. But yeah. And his last Pokemon would be Malamar, because Malamar can hypnotize people, and Vox can hypnotize people, so that makes sense, I think. That was actually my friend that suggested that. So yeah, that would be Vox's team. I know these teams are kind of short, I just didn't want to give them like full teams of 6, because then the video would be way too long. Alright, next is Valentino. Definitely not my favourite of the V's. First you'd have a Volcarona. I mean, he's got massive wings like a moth, and Volcarona's a massive moth with really beautiful wings, so yeah, that's very fitting in my opinion. He'd also have a female Oinkalong, and this may not make sense, but I do have a reason for it. So, if you remember, I gave Angel Dust Lechonk because it represents Fat Nuggets, his pet pig, and in the lore of Hazbin Hotel, Fat Nuggets was given to Angel by Valentino, so he obviously had to have gotten him from somewhere. So, in my lore, if they were Pokemon trainers, he bred his Oinkalon, and then it laid an egg, and it gave birth to Lechonk, and then he gave Lechonk to Angel. I think that makes sense. But he'd have a female one, because the female one's the sluttiest one, and, you know, Val is very much a slut. And then he'd also have Mr. Mime to represent his Robo-Fizz ripoff. I think that's perfect. I know that Fizzy's a clown and not what's it called? A mime, but so is Mr. Mime. I don't even know why it's called Mr. Mime. Alright, last but not least is Velvet. I love Velvet a lot. I can't wait for her to have more screen time when she's the main villain of Season 4. Anyway, she'd have a Banette because, so Banette is a possessed doll. That's like its whole lore. And Velvet is a doll demon, so it just made sense to me, you know? I know she's not a possessed doll technically, but it made sense since her demon form is a doll. And Banette is a doll, so that works out. And then she'd also have a Miss Magius, because she's also kind of a witch as well, because she makes love potions with Val's pheromones and sells them. So yeah, Ozzy even calls her out on this in one episode, saying he doesn't deal with that artificial bullshit. His words, not mine. So yeah. And then her last Pokemon would be Furfru, because Velvet has changes her outfit like every 2 seconds, because she can like... That's her whole power. Like, her outfits are kind of holograms, and she can change them. We've seen her do it to other demons as well. So, Furfur is a Pokemon that you can actually style and change the look of. So, that just felt very fitting as well. So yeah, that would be Velvet's team. Okay, well that is part 2 of my Hazbin Hotel Pokemon teams. This one was quite short, I'm sorry. My next video I hopefully will make longer, because next we're doing the Helluva Boss Pokemon teams, but you'll have to wait for that. Let me know what you think of the teams. What else would you add to their teams? Because obviously they all each only have 3, so you can add 3 more if you want. Let me know in the comments down below. And please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!